वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णो वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ॐ Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Pranams from Dr. R.J. Kalpana. Welcome to the study of the Bhagavad Gita. In this session, we will continue our study of chapter 14, GunaTrayaVibhagaYoga Nama, the classification of the three gunas. Sloka 16. The reward of a righteous act, they say, is sattvika and faultless, in the shape of joy, wisdom, and dispassion. Sorrow is declared to be the fruit of a rajasika act, and ignorance the fruit of a tamasika act. So here Krishna explains the results of our actions. People who have the sattvika guna predominant, their actions are always faultless, and therefore the result is one of wisdom, dispassion, and joy. People of Rajasika Guna, their actions always result in sorrow, because the path that they are on will only give temporary happiness. They run after their desires, and their very success causes them sorrow, because there is no end to their desires. The tamoguna, being ignorant, become more ignorant because of their negligence and laziness, leading to their unhappiness. A seed evolves into a tree, which in turn bears seeds, and this cycle repeats continuously. So similarly, our karma results in samskaras, and through good samskaras we receive our rewards appropriately. Sloka 17. Wisdom follows from sattva, and greed undoubtedly from rajas, likewise obstinate error, stupor, and also ignorance follows from tamas. So Krishna here says that sattva guna gives rise to wisdom, which confers the ability to discriminate between right and wrong. It confers viveka upon a person. Rajoguna inflames the senses, because we are passionate in anger, we are passionate in lust, we are passionate in our hates and loves, and it puts the mind out of control. A living being is trapped by it because it constantly craves for fulfillment of desires. Tamoguna covers the living being in ignorance, and therefore, being inherently lazy, it will not lead to any deeds, certainly not good ones. Introspection into the self is so critical at this juncture in order for us to understand how our tendencies plays itself out. Just like the missing in grammar, if we miss out an avagraha, a, a vowel in Sanskrit, it can change its entire meaning. Similarly, letting the wrong gunas dominate us will lead to bad samskaras and thereby undesirable consequences. Shloka 18. Those who abide in the quality of sattva wend their way upwards, while those of a rajasika disposition stay in the middle, and those of a tamasika temperament, enveloped as they are in the effects of tamoguna, sink down. Here Krishna explains the consequences of the three gunas. Sattvic people are more peaceful, they are more knowledgeable, and they are constantly evolving towards the higher regions. The Rajasika people show predominance towards attachments, even to an inconsequential things like pencil and pen and so they're always in that level of attachments. The Tamasika people, enveloped as they are in ignorance, they land into the lowest level of existence. The soul is nirguna, unmanifested. That is why it is known as Nirguna Brahman, devoid of any attributes, and is tied to the body by the three gunas. We need to understand the nature of these gunas to release the soul towards liberation. Just like we need to understand the type of knot in order to open it up. Shloka 19. When the seer perceives no agent other than the three gunas and realizes me, the Supreme Spirit standing entirely beyond these gunas, he enters into my being. Shloka 18. So here Sri Krishna explains that if you understand these gunas, then you are able to transcend them. A soul not entangled in a guna is a liberated soul. He who sees that the doer is the gunas and not the soul transcends beyond the gunas and unites with the divine. Shloka 20. Having transcended the aforesaid three gunas which have caused the body and freed from birth, death, old age, and all kinds of sorrow, this soul attains supreme bliss. So Bhagavan here explains that when we transcend the three gunas, then the soul gets released from the cycle of life and death and attains immortality. Having heard the esoteric truth of transcending the three gunas and how man attains liberation during this very lifetime, Arjuna now questions the Lord, desiring to know the characteristics and conduct of one who has transcended the gunas and risen above the gunas. Shloka 21. Arjuna said, what are the marks of him who has risen above the three gunas, and what is his conduct? And how, Lord, does he rise above the three gunas? So, what are the characteristics of those who have gone beyond the gunas? How do they conduct themselves? What is their conduct? And how have they gone beyond this bondage of the gunas? Shloka 22. Shri Bhagavan said, Arjuna, he who hates not light, which is born of sattva, and activity, which is born of rajas, and even stupor, which is born of tamas, when prevalent, nor longs for them when they have ceased. So, purity in a person, desire to do action, and ignorance are the characteristics of the gunas. One needs to observe them, live with them, but by disciplining them and controlling them. So, the sattvic person, or one who has transcended the gunas, will no longer hate the divine light, will no longer hate action, will no longer even hate ignorance when prevalent, and nor does he long for them when they have ceased. Shloka 23. He who sitting like a witness is not disturbed by the gunas, and who, knowing that the gunas alone move among the gunas, remains established in identity with God and never falls off from that state. So Krishna explains that that one who has transcended the gunas becomes neutral and therefore is not subject to the laws of the gunas. That person is equipoised in all situations. He stays established in the self, in its soul, unwavering. Shloka 24. He who is ever established in the self takes woe and joy alike, regards a clod of earth, a stone, and a piece of God as equal in value, is possessed of wisdom, and receives the pleasant as well as the unpleasant in the same spirit, and views censure and praise alike. In Shloka 24, Krishna says that those who are alike in happiness and distress, who are established firmly in their soul and remain the same with a balanced equanimity, treating both pleasant and unpleasant events alike, who are intelligent and accept both criticism and praise with equanimity, are those who have transcended the gunas. Gunatit they are called as. Shloka 25. He who is indifferent to honor and ignominy is alike to the cause of a friend as well as to that of an enemy, and has renounced the sense of doership in all undertakings, is said to have risen above the three gunas. So once again Krishna speaks about remaining the same in both honor and dishonor, treat both friend and foe alike, and have abandoned all enterprises, in the sense of doership, ownership, the ego that prompts them to say, I have done this, I have achieved this. That person is said to have risen above the three gunas. Shloka 26. He too who constantly worships me through the yoga of exclusive devotion, transcending these three gunas, becomes eligible for attaining Brahma. This verse summarizes an ideal life. So people who worship, who meditate, who constantly remembers the divine, and through the yoga of exclusive devotion, through bhakti yoga and surrender, they rise above these three gunas and then they become eligible for liberation. Shloka 27th, the last shloka of this chapter. For I am the ground of the imperishable Brahma, of immortality, of the eternal virtue, and of unending, immutable bliss. Here, Krishna reveals that he is immortal and imperishable. He is Sanatana Dharma, the eternal Dharma, and he is Shashvataha, unending divine bliss. And therefore, by gaining the knowledge of Prakriti and Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and understanding the three gunas and imbibing them into our consciousness as realized wisdom, we can liberate ourselves and move beyond the heart region into the mind region. Om Tat Sadite Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayan Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade GunaTrayaVibhagaYogo Nama Chaturdashodhyayaha. Om Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Thus, in the Upanishad sung by the Lord, the science of Brahma, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Shri Krishna and Arjuna ends the 14th chapter entitled The Yoga of Classification of the Three Gunas. Om Yogeshau Satchidanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samstapakam Viram Krishna Vande Jagat Gurum. Shri Krishna Vande Jagat Gurum. Om Shri Krishnarpanamastu.